welcome to episode 153 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from A to Z. Sort of.
Alright guys, so we spun the wheel. No, we didn't. And we got Bleach.
You just don't know how to do your thing without the wheel. Oh.
I did that on purpose. It is a Japanese anime television series based on Tite Kubo's original manga series of the same name. It was produced by Studio Period and directed by Noriyuki Abe. The series aired on TV Tokyo from October 2004 to March 2012, spanning 366 episodes. But that was not the end. I guess we're getting into it now. That was not the end of the manga. There's a lot more to it.
Oh.
And that was really f***ing upsetting in 2012. Like, we thought like maybe a year would go by before it started back up. It starts back up a couple months from now in October.
Oh, wow. It's now coming back?
Yes, just now coming
Why
back.
so
And
long?
there was like, well, they caught up to the manga and like, you know, the studio has other projects in line. I'm assuming they just, instead of pausing over and over again and giving us tons of filler like Naruto, I have strong feelings about that, they paused until it was done. I can only assume.
Oh, the manga's done now?
Let's check. Where's the manga? Where's the manga?
Oh, you're in the Bleach TV series.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's done. It finished in 2016. That's still 6 years. But they were doing movies and like TV specials and stuff to fill time, so they're probably just milking it.
There's that, but it also takes a lot longer to do an anime.
Oh, sure.
Than it does anything else. So because they're still hand drawing everything over there.
Mm.
So
the anime adaptation, I'm going to read a little bit from here, includes original storylines not found in the manga and repeated appearances of stories and characters that weren't contained or were contained, but like repeated filler. That being said, almost all the fillers like genuine, like it's not bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like the Naruto fillers are f***ing terrible.
So it ties into the actual story. It makes sense. You know what I mean? It's not just a waste of your time. It ties into the plot, you're saying?
Yes. Like it's like backstory for a character that didn't have backstory, and it doesn't f*** anything up.
I gotcha. That's interesting.
So how many episodes did you watch?
I watched 15.
15? I watched episode 1 through like 4 a couple months ago with my daughter, and she didn't really pick up on it, which is fine. And then I watched episode 8 and 9.
Oh, okay.
Now, I've seen all of it, probably twice at least.
Right.
So, I don't know.
And we watched the first 3 together. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't think we watched any of it together.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We didn't watch any of this together. Oh.
We watched the Gene, and then we were just like, oh, we're going to do Bleach.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So we just screwed up the ending of the last episode. Doesn't matter.
No, we didn't.
They now know that, doesn't matter.
They won't know anything. I'll just edit this out.
Anyway, so, Bleach. Premise.
Yeah, go ahead.
Essentially, and they don't get into it with the episodes that you had watched so far. They talk about it a tiny bit, but there's the living world, then there's the spiritual world. And when you die, you typically go to the spiritual world, but sometimes you don't, and I can't remember why. You become a hollow, essentially a ghost. And
people who are can hold on to the like
to the present, to the being alive.
Hold on to
that makes sense.
And that's how you become a ghost.
And sometimes you are just a ghost for a little while, but when your chain breaks because it's been too long, you get like a hole in your chest, and you slowly turn into what's called a hollow, which is like a weird monster with a mask.
It's very Japanese afterlife lore, like very yokai in that sense and everything else. It's just, and
it also at a certain point gets very Spanish, like super Spanish, to the point where all the hollows have Spanish names.
That's interesting.
It's really odd.
But yeah, it's definitely, if you know Japanese lore, like mythology and stuff like that, then you definitely already know how the lore works as far as spirits and stuff like that.
There are Soul Reapers, essentially Grim Reapers, who, you know, have katanas and spells. Of course,
because it's Japan.
And they fight. And their job is to hunt down the hollows and kill them. And if there's, like, you know, good people that are ghosts, their job is to kind of guide them to the afterlife. And Rukia fights something, and she's fighting a hollow, and she's about to die because something happened, whatever, who cares. And then Ichigo can see her because he can see spirits. So he's like, hey, you need a hand? Essentially. So along those lines. And so she's about to die, so she tried to transfer like 1% of her power to him so that he could fight, and he like sucked up like 99% of it.
You know, you have a terrible memory, but you remembered this pretty well.
I watched it. I was really into it when I watched it.
So that just shows you how much you like this anime. Because
I like it a lot, but like a very similar to a Gene, you got to watch more of it.
Yeah, no, I know, but you can tell when you like an anime and when you don't, because you either remember it if you do,
I like
or
shonens.
You do really like shonens.
I like shonens a lot.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, and it follows the main character around, and you remember a lot of the names, and even I don't.
I remember more than that. Chad is the Spanish guy, or Hime is the girl with the big ass titties. I don't remember. Khan is the puppet guy. Cone. It's spelled with a K.
Yes.
And I don't remember the guy with the arrows. Is he in it yet?
Oh yeah, I got to him.
I forget his name.
Yeah, I got to the episode right after they introduced his arc where he released all the hollows.
Oh yeah, he was a bit of a dick in the beginning.
Yes, he kind of is.
Well, he hates Soul Reapers for whatever reason.
He's essentially the main character. He's the main character's Vegeta, essentially.
Yeah, they sort of hate each other, but then they team up and they're friends, but they still kind of hate each other.
Yeah. They kind of hate everybody. It's kind of their thing.
Yeah. So, when he gets the power, Ichigo, when he gets the powers transferred into him, he gets his sword and he gets the outfit. And the soul body is separate from the real body, so his real body lays down or whatever. And he has this giant sword. And Rukia is, like, astonished by it. Because apparently it's a representation of how much soul energy power that you have. Like, most people's aren't bigger than, like, a half inch thickness.
So, normal people are wielding katanas, and he's wielding the bastard sword.
Almost a great sword.
Yeah.
It's giant.
He's wielding, what's his name's sword? Guts' sword.
Yeah. Like the first one you see? Pretty much.
Yeah. So, it's ridiculous, but whatever. It's the typical shonen protagonist.
Well, what's really funny is, like, as it goes on, so, like, there's 3 stages to their Zanpakutos, which are the names of their swords. Mm-hmm. That's the first one. And then when they get really good, they get the second stage, which sometimes has a little bit of a power in it. Ichigo's doesn't really. His just becomes a bigger, different shaped sword with a wrap on it. Like, one time he swings over his head. But on his third stage, his Bankai, which is what it's called. I forget what the second stage is. It becomes like a regular katana, but it's black. I actually own it. I think you've seen it once or twice.
Probably.
My wife got it for me when we were kids. What's kind of interesting about it, not only is it black, I wasn't going to say this originally because I didn't think of it, but what's also kind of interesting about it is the hilt is a backward swastika, which is a peace symbol.
Right.
But still. And then what I was originally going to say about it being interesting, there's a chain cut off at the end of the sword, which alludes to something that happens later on after, or actually before and after. He's like part hollow.
Oh, he's part hollow? The main character? It's weird.
Yeah, it's all explained. I can't remember all the details of it, but it's explained.
I assume he was born of 2 people, but...
He was, but he's got hollow-ish stuff in him. For some reason, I can't remember why. Okay. And when he's, like, getting his Bankai out, it, like, sort of takes over a little bit.
So I have things that I really like about the show and things that I really don't like about the show.
It's a bit slowly paced.
No, it's paced like every other shonen, so I was like...
Very slow in the beginning.
It's like... But... In the beginning, he's gathering his freaking crew, and it's of course you're spending 15 to 20 episodes doing that.
Did any of them show any powers yet?
Yes, when what's his face, the guy with the arrows, the Vegeta character.
Well, sure, he did, but he's always had his powers.
No, but when he released
the hollows,
when he did this thing, and then all the hollows started pouring in. The girl reveals that she has fairies or something, and then the Chad guy had his super
big arm
thing, yeah. So,
that's kind of cool. Did they explain why that those 2 have powers?
Because of Ichiko, is that his name?
Yeah.
He transferred some of his powers by accident.
Leaking.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, I really like this idea of, like, one person, for whatever reason, has powers of some sort, and it sort of leaks out into his friends. I like that idea.
They explained that he doesn't have a set amount of, like, soul energy. He's like a faucet that's constantly running that needs to be constantly released. So it makes sense that the people that he's closest to around him are starting to gain powers and stuff like that. So it's a different... I like that it's different, the shonen. I guess I'll get into the things that I really liked about it first, and then I'll bitch about it. It's 'cause
there's a bit to bitch about, especially early on.
I like the setting, honestly, that it's set in the real world. Whereas other shonen are usually based like pirates or, Dragon Ball Z is still a fantasy.
Yeah, I do like that. What's really weird is I don't like that with fantasy.
Yeah.
When fantasy is set in modern times, it can be done okay, but I haven't seen one that I was like, I really love that book. I've never had that happen. So, like, I don't, it's hard to do. But with anime, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it works in this shonen because it's not really fantasy. It's dealing with spirits and stuff like that. And it's like, so it makes sense in the world that it's in. And I do like the setting. It's refreshing to have a shonen in the real world, I guess.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that there's a giant cast here, but they focus on, like, his friends, too. His friends have plot arcs and story arcs and stuff like that. He has a family that actually... 2 little sisters and a dad that are actually characters and they're not.
They are for about the amount that you've watched.
Yeah.
They largely get forgotten later on. But his dad comes back. His sisters come back too. But
I mean, like, from what I've seen, I do like that they're in the show and that they matter.
His friends matter throughout the whole show for the most part.
Right. Like, so, like, even his friends have friends and they matter, And so I do like that every character is introduced and has relevance even though they're side characters. I did like that.
You know what I really liked? Besides it being a shonen and, me liking them getting stronger and all that jazz, the music. It's weirdly good.
Yeah, it is.
Fits. Even just the weird, like, do noise when he's, like, getting in a serious moment. It's good.
Yeah, I do like the music. I actually like the opening and ending to... at least, I don't know when they switch over or anything.
Yeah, X amount of episodes.
Yeah, but, like, the opening is really good, and I really like the ending, too. So, although the ending sounds like a famous pop song, so it's like, and I thought it was at first, but no, it starts in English and then it goes to Japanese.
Yeah. It's odd when that happens, but if done right, it works.
I really did like the music.
I like the plot. I like, Ichigo gets better as a character as it goes on. He's like, I don't like people. Yeah, I'm a bad person because I killed my mom.
His edgelordness is kind of one of my big problems with the show. It's like he's very annoying.
He's pretty generic, angry teenager.
Yes,
he's got a little bit to be angry about, but not a whole lot. He's got a loving dad, and loving sisters.
I get it, but he's over the top with it at times, and it's annoying. Cone, the side character.
That takes
relief is annoying.
He's super annoying. He takes over his body when he goes into soul form to go fight Hollows.
Yeah, it's super irritating. I also find the Hollows very generic.
They are. They're super generic, and they won't be around much longer.
Okay, that's what I was worried about because they all look the same.
So after a few Hollow fights, eventually they end up going to the Soul Society because Rukia gets captured because she shouldn't have done what she did.
That's the arc that
he wants to go save her. And then he's fighting the other Soul Reapers for a long time. And eventually that's done, and they kind of stop fighting him for whatever reason. I can't quite remember. And then it's back to really strong Hollows that are all individuals that, are conscious.
Yeah, but, like, these smaller ones that they were fighting...
Yeah, they're terrible.
They all look the same. And it's like we're fighting stormtroopers at this point. Yeah. It's like, it's boring.
Yeah. And they try to make each episode interesting with, like, its own little mini arc.
Yeah.
But it's bad. It's not particularly good.
No, the character stories are what's holding it together. And
the main cast, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I do not care about the spirit world or anything else because you're showing me the same bland monsters over and over again. But, because, like, they're supposed to be demons from hell, essentially, at this point. Or, like, poltergeists.
Yeah, they're low-level demons, though.
Like, poltergeists, but they should at least vary.
Yeah, well, they sort of do for a couple other episodes, but not many. Like the one is like the ghost fish with the bob thing.
But they're shaped differently, but they all have the same color scheme. They all have the mask.
Again, that changes, but for the beginning season, it's not great.
And that's really, it just felt very, like they were fighting the same thing over and over again, and that got boring. So, I mean, I liked it. But it's a shonen, and it's a popular shonen, so of course you're really like there's quality to it, or else it wouldn't have lasted 333 episodes. So.
Yeah, for sure. It sucks because it gets good. It gets so good, but you're not there yet. Now, what happened in the last couple episodes? Did she get abducted?
She's leaving him because she's afraid she's going to get abducted, and then the Soul Society shows up at the end of the last episode.
Renji, the guy with the red hair and the mask. He has like a thing on his face.
There was... No, he showed up already because he was going to, but he lets her go because he's like, oh.
Okay. Did they fight?
They kind of, but like he's kind of sees that the Ichigo guy is strong and stuff, and he's like, okay, but they're still going to be coming for you. Mm. And then he leaves, and then 2 more show up at the last episode, and I guess that's where they're going to go and kidnap her or whatever. Because she just left a note leaving, because she lives in his closet. Yeah. So, I don't know how no one's noticed that, but whatever.
I don't think his family cares.
That's fair. They seem a little busy, their family, because they're like a hospital, but whatever.
They have like this little mini hospital in their house.
So, it's like, but okay, whatever.
So, that's kind of premise. It's kind of, the first 15 episodes are kind of like that.
It's like reviewing One Piece or Naruto or Dragon Ball. It's good. There's only so much you can talk about outside of the story because it's shonen and it's got the same formula as every one of those shows
for the most part, as far as fighting and training.
Right. It's just like the shonen aspects are there. It's just the story that's different in the setting. So,
one thing I want to mention. You know how Rukia is doing spells?
Yeah.
You almost never see that again. It's really rare.
They never really work. So what difference is it?
It's super rare that you see the.
It definitely feels like from what I've seen, the early stuff, they're feeling out what works and what doesn't work, from what you're telling me about the later stuff, it seems like they kind of discard the things like.
It'll happen, but it's not as much.
I know it's
like the higher level guys just fight.
Yeah, it's like, this kind of, we established this, we'll use it once in a blue moon, but we don't need it here, so let's just pretend we didn't do that for most of this. But yeah, I liked it. I wasn't as into it as I was, say, One Piece, though.
Yeah, One Piece got good with the story early.
Yeah, so it's like, I didn't feel like after, we watched like 126 episodes of One Piece.
That's a lot.
And then after that, I watched another 100.
Wow.
I was like at 326 when I stopped. So, like, I like Bleach, and I do want to watch more of it and get into it, but, like...
There's shit to do.
Yeah, I just don't have the time, and I'm not as invested into it to do it. So...
I think that'll change once they get to the Soul Society to get Rukia back. It starts getting good.
I have no doubt in that. It's just, it's a lot to invest in.
Yes.
Without really, especially we're ruining an anime a week, so it's like...
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. For me, it's above average for shonen. There's a reason why it's the big 3, but I've seen more of it than you, so I've got to rate it for what I know of it. That's probably a 7, maybe an 8.
Where I'm at a 6 with more room for improvement as we go. And it's probably not going to be the last time we cover Bleach, because we'll cover more once he comes back around and stuff like that, if it comes up. We'll eventually run out of bees and be left with only Bleach in there. So
definitely.
But yeah, I'm definitely at a 6. I can't think of anything that we covered in B off the top of my head that would be better than Bleach, honestly.
Oh, pull it up just to look.
Yeah. But like...
Maybe that's what we would just pull it up and see if there's anything better.
Like, Bottle Fairy was in there that we covered. Bastard we covered.
Beyblade. Black... We didn't watch Black Lagoon. We watched Black something.
Black Bullet. It was disgusting.
Black Bullet?
Yeah, I think it was Black Bullet.
Yeah, no, that was the one. Never mind. I was thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Blue Gender?
No, we didn't cover Blue Gender.
We did Blue Gender.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier ones.
Blue Gender was the first one we did. I was thinking of Blue Submarine number 9 because I was like, no, you've probably seen that before. We just didn't cover it, but we did cover Blue Gender, yes. Blue Gender was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'd probably watch Bleach before that again.
I would.
It's very slowly paced.
Scroll all the way down to the end of...
I don't know. Couldn't be that great.
Yeah, no, like I said, there is nothing in here that would be better than Bleach. There's nothing that's...
Oh, Berserk.
Oh, right, Berserk.
Berserk first. Couldn't have been that good. Huh.
I actually forgot about Berserk, so...
Well, it is what it is. But Berserk. Definitely. Titties on the box art, come on.
Honestly, if we're going by what I would rather watch again, I would rather watch the 16 episodes of Bleach than I would 26 episodes of Berserk. Yeah. I wasn't as into Berserk as you were.
So good. Cat's meowing. I wonder if that's on the...
You close out the site again when you know you have to read.
I don't have to read anything.
For the next thing we're covering.
Correct. The cat just keeps meowing.
That's fine. It's fine.
Oh, what are we doing? Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah.
There are things in here I want to watch. Like Clannad After Story, or Clannad, not After Story, is like something I've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know much about it. But like, that's something I would want to watch.
And like, I heard Castlevania was really good. I've never seen it.
That was pretty good. I liked it. But as far as like, something I would pick over Bebop.
Right. I'm the only thing that I can see in that list that would even come close is Claymore, but we already covered it.
Yes. And we wouldn't have known about it unless we got it.
Exactly.
Code Geass is really good, also really bad. Can't pick it over Cowboy Bebop.
Right, no. So Cowboy Bebop is, honestly, you can put Cowboy Bebop in any letter and it'll be hard-pressed to beat it.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely why we're covering it, and it's, like, the most popular anime there is.
Well, I don't know about that.
Like,
it's iconic.
As far as...
It's definitely not the most popular, because then it would be making boatloads of money, and it's not.
Not what I mean is most well-known as...
Yeah, iconic.
Best.
Yeah, as a good, really good anime from back in the day.
Like,
especially for our generation.
Yes.
The newer generations probably don't even know what the it is.
That's fair. Oh, no, that new show came out, so they probably know it from
Well, because of the live-action show. Speaking of it, should we watch that?
No. I refuse.
Instead of this?
No, I refuse.
That's a really small summary. Do you want to watch the movie, too? 26 episodes in a movie.
Well, you know what? To be fair, we usually take 2 weeks to do 26 things.
That makes sense. We could just do that movie instead of a different movie.
And instead of the Lupin movie or something, yeah, we'll just do that on top
that
of it.
Fits.
Yeah. So...
The tags are action, drama, science fiction, thriller, and the plot summary is pretty small. Spike Spiegel, a bounty hunter with a dark past, lives on bounty to bounty, barely making it each time, or not making it at all. His partners Jet Black, Faye Valentine, Ed, and Ein, the dog, all help him in his adventure from planet to planet. Jet is his only friend in the beginning. The rest kind of come along.
Yeah, he gets people as...
He gets his friends.
Yes, he gets his friends, yeah.
Almost like a shonen, but it's not a shonen.
It's not a shonen at all.
But, like, the whole friend thing, I'm gonna... Maybe, like, at first, him and Faye, like, but definitely aren't super cool.
As you define shonen, there's
no, it's not a shonen. No, it's not a shonen.
Yeah. But no, it's... We've both seen it, obviously. Mm-hmm. We both know it's going to be really good. It's probably going to be close to one of our highest ratings, no matter what.
Maybe.
I mean... Maybe, you're right.
You know, what's a little bit hard about something like this is I really, really enjoyed it when I watched it. But now, after watching it 4 times over the years, it's like, it's a little bit of a hard thing to watch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like my memory of it is probably better than rewatching it after I know the plot.
That's fair. That's what I was going to say, that going back into it after maybe not seeing it in a few years, maybe it's not as good as that's why I said probably would be one of our highest ones. But, then again, you think about something like Ghost in the Shell, which I really like, but you really hated it.
Yeah.
So, and vice versa. Like, I think I gave Berserk a high score, but I didn't get as into it as you did. So.
Anyway, next episode, Cowboy Bebop.
Probably.
Maybe. Sort of.